Bill, Sandra.
Thank you, Matt. Matt Finn reporting there, Jefferson City, Missouri. Thank you, Matt. 2 minutes past.
Meanwhile, President Trump giving Attorney General Barr the authority to declassify documents related to FBI surveillance of his campaign in 2016. The president has accused the Bureau of spying, calling its actions treasonous. Here's former Deputy Independent Counsel Saul Weisenberg earlier.
I think probably at the end of the day, very few people are going to be tried, and we shouldn't want our opponents to go to prison unless they've actually violated the criminal law. So let's just get the facts and have an honest broker get to the bottom of it.
All right, so joining us now, Chris Wallace, anchor of Fox News Sunday. Chris, good morning to you. So,
morning to you, Sandra.
What do you think happens with this now that the president's given Barr authority to access all of this?
Yeah, I mean, there were two parts to the declaration yesterday. One was an order that all of the intelligence agencies needed to cooperate with Attorney General Barr's investigation, and two, that he has the right to declassify anything he wants. I have to agree with Saul Weisenberg. You know, there are millions of Americans who think the big story here is that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. Well, after 22 months of investigation, we found out that wasn't true, according to the special counsel. There are millions of Americans who think the big story here is that there was improper activity, abuse of power by members of the FBI and other intelligence agencies to try to sink Donald Trump during the campaign. Now we're going to have an investigation to find out whether that's true, and let the chips fall where they may. Let's find out what the facts are.
So we will, and we'll see if they get to the bottom of that. Meanwhile, this ongoing feud in Washington, it was really something to watch this play out with the president and Nancy Pelosi this week. Chris, I'm sure you were watching it all. I mean, it's quite a feud, and it's not showing any signs of cooling off.
No, and I have to say, I'm not sure who was trolling whom. I think they were both trying to get under each other's skin. I think there's no question that Nancy Pelosi, when she starts talking about, I pray for the president and perhaps his family should have an intervention, was trying to get at the president. And clearly she succeeded to some degree in getting under his skin when yesterday at that press conference, he called on, about 4 or 5 members of his administration to confirm the fact that he didn't have a temper tantrum, didn't lose his temper when he ended the meeting on infrastructure on Wednesday. On the other hand, the president gives as good as he gets, and he's talking about crazy Nancy and that she's losing it, and he's worried about her. You know, look, as a political reporter in this town, it's all very entertaining. But as an American, you know, what it means is that nothing gets done. And that's got to be concerning, whether it's infrastructure. There are a whole lot of things that just have to get done in the course of this year, let alone the 2020 and the campaign. They have to figure out how to fund the government by October 1st. They have to raise the debt limit or the country goes into default. The president sure wants to get his trade deal, his new trade deal with Mexico and the U.S., and Canada, the USMCA passed. So there's a lot of business they need to get done. And at this point, they're not getting any of it done.
We asked Tulsi Gabbard, Democratic presidential candidate, who joined us last hour, Chris, about just that. Here was her response.
I think it is the hyperpartisanship and divisiveness that people are sick and tired of, that they see in Washington getting in the way of actually doing the people's business, serving the people of this country. We have to put the well-being of the people first in this country and do what it takes to deliver results for them.
We saw a lot of people, Washington writers, writing about just that this week, Chris. Who or what party this actually benefits to have this feud continue? Certainly with the impeachment frenzy continuing on Washington as well and Nancy Pelosi.
No, it obviously doesn't benefit any party. The one conceivable thing you could say on behalf of Nancy Pelosi is that maybe by getting into this fight with the president and standing up to him and taking him on, that she slows down the move inside the Democratic caucus for impeachment, which I know she thinks is a huge mistake and will backfire on Democrats. In the end, you know, nobody is a winner here. Neither of them look good. The only thing you can say is that the president himself is involved in this. Nancy Pelosi isn't going to be on the ballot against him next year. It's going to be some other Democrat. And if they're able to look, and I say if they're able to look like they're rising above the fray, maybe there's an advantage to him. But at this point, in terms of Pelosi and Trump, they're no winners. And we, all on the sidelines, while it's entertaining, it's not very good for the
country.
country.
Well, it may be a holiday weekend with Memorial Day, Chris, but you've got a big show coming up on Sunday. You've got an exclusive interview with Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham. That's going to be certainly one to watch. And you've also got Democratic Congressman Eric Wallace.